GreenLight invests in community-driven change, and in partnership with our community members, we find innovative solutions to launch here in Boston. This election cycle was unique in some ways because we were all hopeful that the pandemic was coming to an end, and at the same time realizing the long tail of the impact of the pandemic on our families, on communities of color.
There are children all over this city living in extreme poverty, double the national average child poverty in Boston, extraordinarily high housing costs, 50% over the national average. So people who are living here are living right on the edge in many cases.
About a third of parents were reporting that they were struggling with mental health needs. Young children were starting to show the impact of the pandemic.
Child First is an intensive home-based intervention where we support families and their very young children. Child First is trauma-informed, relationship-based. Child First is community-focused and family-focused. Child First is so many different things.
The goal of Child First is to get to families as early as we possibly can. If we can get in there early, and if those experiences are responsive and nurturing, then that child is going to have the very best start, even in the face of some of the greatest challenges.
Child First is all about building trust with families. Most of our caregivers have experienced some kind of trauma, so taking the space to really recognize what's happened to them in their lives and how that might have impacted the way that they are as caregivers.
To be honest, at the beginning, the first few weeks that I had Kimberly said, I said to my husband, I don't think this is going to work. It doesn't make sense. We're playing all the time. Where's the help?
Play is how children learn, right? Well, many of the families we're dealing with, no one had time to play with them as children. What Child First brings is more than one person to solve a family's problem. Having two people trying to find you services so that they can get their basic needs met.
The clinician is attending to not just two individuals, but the interaction between them. Not changing the caregiver's behavior or the child's behavior. We're changing the interaction.
It was very helpful because I got to see things in a way different, because it was like a door to his brain for the first time. I was able to understand, oh my God, what was going on. Or what, not that I was doing something wrong, but maybe there was something that I was missing and I wasn't doing it because I didn't know he needed it.
We saw that we could really have quite major impact on the child's emotional development and behavior, on the child's language development and communication, on parental depression and anxiety, and on the parent-child relationship.
Well, every week I started noticing changes, and then I started realizing that, oh my God, if I change certain behavior on myself, totally changes my son.
Hope has a very specific meaning in Child First because that's the kind of like the guiding star for the work. We're trying to leave families with a sense of hope. Oftentimes they come to us with a sense of despair, and we might be meeting them at sometimes some of the worst moments of their lives.
We talk about this work from the start around gaps and needs, but really it's about fulfilling aspirations and finding joy and realizing dreams for our young people, for families. And that is the most satisfying experience, to go from a need to feeling like there's a solution, but moving beyond just identifying that solution, but really celebrating people's dreams.
My hope for Child First coming to Boston is that clinicians won't feel so siloed themselves, that we will together support Child First integrating into a continuum of care in Massachusetts.
When I hear that narrative around hope and what we're bringing to families around a greater sense of hope for the future, hope for themselves, a belief that they can do this, that efficacy as a parent is so important. And so I think hope is a really great word that kind of encapsulates all of that.